want to give my state of the program for Baylor men's tennis since the 2025 season ended. And ended in a 4-3 loss to Texas A&M. And that's the Texas A&M team that was down J.C. Roddick, both singles and doubles. And that was the same Texas A&M team that barely survived against Rice in a round of 64. I want to just go over the match real fast. I apologize for the ground because I cannot memorize all this stuff. So, number one doubles, and Oscar Brooks-Paulson and Marko Milinovic lost pretty bad, 6-1. The second number two doubles in Devin Bainhorst and Luke Koenig lost 6-3. We were up. Alex Karitsa and Jean Borvelts were up 5-4, and that was a DNF. Right after doubles, Texas A&M took 4 first sets. However, Baylor did force 2 3-set matches. They did. So the first singles result was Marco losing at 6-2, 6-4. Then Luke Koenig stepped up at number 5 singles and won 6-4, 6-2. So it was 2-1 at that point. Alex Karitsa won his match at number 4 singles, 7-6, 11-9 in a tiebreaker, by the way, 6-4. So it's 2-all. Then Oscar Brostrom-Poulsen won his match, 3-6, 6-0, 7-5. But that was right after Jean Borvelts lost at number 2 singles, by the way, 7-5, 7-5. He had a break lead to serve for the second set and couldn't close it, or couldn't hold in the first set to force to 6-all. Or even right afterwards, he was down 6-5 again in the second. He couldn't hold serve to force a tiebreaker. Now Devin lost his match 6-3, 4-6, 6-1. He was making a lot of errors in that third set, and the A&M guy is pretty good. Similar ranking to Devin. So I just want to go over the match real fast, and what does this mean, honestly. So Baylor men's tennis now finishes the year at 23-11 overall, which is better than the last 2 years. You can't deny that. And NCAA tournament wise, they made past this round of 64 for a change. And the Big 12, they were even better than a year ago. 6-2, tied for second in the conference with Arizona, which Arizona got the head-to-head. That's it. Now, when you look at the season as a whole, there's not a lot of matches that got away besides this one. It's really the San Diego match at home, and I know that match in the round of 32 with USC right now is still in a weather delay. Who knows what's going to happen there? But right after Baylor lost doubles to San Diego when they were healthy, Baylor won all 6 first sets. Got 3 straight set wins. Unfortunately, we couldn't get a third one, and John Borvelts started cramping at the very end of the second set, which affected his third set. And Marco at 6 was up 4-0, serving for 5-0. Couldn't hold. Lost 5 straight games. Then he broke back to get to 5-all. Lost serve. Down 6-5. But broke back and lost in the tiebreaker in a very close one at that. So there's obviously that's the one that really got away. I was also say Arizona State and the neutral site at Indian Wells, they lost that one 4-3. That's an Arizona State team that later on Baylor beat them 2 times in a row, 4-0. By the way. They lost doubles, and Marco, they had a chance to win it straights, but he couldn't. I mean, even in the third set, he was up and he couldn't win it. So that's really the two match, and obviously the Big 12 tournament semifinal against Arizona. Baylor crushed Arizona in doubles. Yeah, I know one of them was like 6-4, but they sent a message across the board, and they even split first sets, and they lost that one 4-2. But I will say, if Marco won his match in straight sets instead of really bad in the third, Oscar was serving for the win at number 3 singles at the time, and that would have been 4-3 win for Baylor. So the point, and Devin did try to come back at number 1, but lost in second set really close. Same thing goes for Louis Bowden after that first set. So you get the picture about those matches that I think they got away. So in 4-3 matches in general, how many of them did they win? Obviously the Pepperdine, the Cornell, that's 2 of them right there. Well, they lost like one, like I said, San Diego, Arizona State, this one. So yeah, 3 of them. And I'm going to mention this stat right up front. When Baylor men's tennis wins the doubles point this year, they're 19-3. The only 2 teams that beat them in doubles, yeah, it was actually 2 teams, not 3. Ohio State twice, which they're going to go to the Sweet 16. It's more like, can they go to Elite 8 or Final 4? And the other one is Arizona. So out of all those losses this year, every single one except the Arizona State one was a top 10 seed in the NCAA tournament. But without doubles, though, Baylor was 4-8. So that's kind of like, you got to be better without doubles. With doubles, you could be a little bit better, but it's hard to go undefeated. I know, but my point is, you got to win bigger matches when you get doubles. So I'm going to just go over like the singles and doubles records for this year. At number 1, we were like 15-3. That's the worst mark in terms of percentage. But I will say, if Devin does return, I think he's going to get better. It's his first year at Court 1 as a sophomore. Number 2, 16-9. Number 3, 22-6. Number 4 was a little bit shaky, 16-12. Though we did move Alex Kurica to number 4 at the very end, and he's won 10 matches out of those 16, by the way. So really good addition there. Number 5, we're at 18-4, and number 6, 18-9. So now doubles wise, at number 1, we were 17-13, and 13-13 for Marco and Oscar this year. I know that's not the year they envisioned at the number 1 double spot. Number 2, we were 20-7, and number 3, 17-10. So, how many stars are going to be gone for both singles and doubles for Baylor? 3. Yes, I know Marco at times didn't play singles, but he was mostly a starter in both. And honestly, I know Alex at one point was not starting in doubles, but starting in singles. But then he did both. And there's obviously Oscar Broström-Poulsen, Marco's doubles partner as well. So, yeah. Quinn Van Veek didn't hardly play. So, and same thing goes for Justin Braverman. They're not like consistent starters, so to speak. So you get the whole picture here, and I will say if we would have beat Arizona in the Big 12 tournament, we would have been hosting definitely. We would have been. Baylor would have been. Or beat San Diego. Or beat both, and then you're in a better spot as a seed instead of having going on the road somewhere. That's just tough. Or I don't know about at minimum the Arizona State match, but I think if we didn't lose to them the first time, Baylor wouldn't have. I think they might have hosted, but I'm not positive. So, just a very hard ending. Very close match. It is what it is. They do have 2 freshmen coming in for the, but I will say I'm not sure that they're starter types. I'm not sure. And the first one that I'm going to mention is Blake Anderson. He's like, as of like November, when the article came out, #1 recruit in the state of Texas. So, and there's Drew Hedgecoe, which actually his mom is actually a subscriber on here. It's like, wow. And Drew Hedgecoe is like the #2 recruit in North Carolina. I do think there might be a role for both, but I'm not sure they're starter types. Maybe I'm proven wrong. And you never know. They could always bring in somebody in the have done that in the past. So you never know. And supposedly in the grapevine, it's not official yet. There is a guy that's already committed to Baylor for 2026, and that's Calvin Baierl. Might be early enrolling, but even still, yeah, I don't know. They're gonna have to get more starter types. They need starters, and the transfer portal does actually open up tomorrow, or whenever you're watching. Like, if it's tomorrow that you're watching, it's on May 5th. And it lasts till June 3rd. There are notable guys in the transfer portal already. There are. From like, reportedly they are going to enter. So, from what I've seen on X. So I wouldn't put past them for adding transfers, especially starter types. And I wouldn't mind so much if they got just 1-year guys to fill in the gap. Or even multi-year. I would prefer multi-year, but you got to find a good combination. And I do think if Devin does return, he's going to be court 1. Then Jean Bohr, I think he's going to be court 2. The question is really #3. Because I don't know about Luke Koenig being a 3 unless he's going to improve. And same thing goes for Louis Bowden. That's the only 2 guys I could think of that could play #3. I mean, that is an option for #3. I just don't know. And whoever's at 9 or 3, I think is better at 4 anyway. But still, even if Calvin does early enroll, but it's not a definite thing. Even if he does early enroll, I don't know if he's gonna. He might be starting like at the bottom though. But either way, I would go more transfer portal, like to get starter types. And they're probably gonna bring somebody like a foreign another foreign that is a starter, kind of like Alex Caritza was this year. Maybe instead of that 1 semester, they'll do multi-year. Maybe they're going to do that. Like, and whether it's enrolling this fall or the spring. But like I said, there are going to be guys in the transfer portal that are notable. So how many returners does this team have? So Imran, Luis Jose, that's not gonna mean that's it. That is if they are coming back, really. That is if. Luke Koenig, Jean Borvelts, Amon Zamani, he doesn't hardly play. So, and there's obviously Devin and Louis. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys, and you add in 2 freshman definites, and even if that one guy that is a 2026 commit does an early enroll, you're only gonna have you gotta have more quality depth though. Because if you really want to be a top 16 seed, you gotta have a good 7 in singles. Like 1 through 6 and then number 7. Or even to get a good number 8 as well. And Baylor will host the National Indoor Tournament again in a year from now. We're going to have to wait and see what happens. And if people really say this program has an issue, I would say look at other programs at Baylor. They have issues, some similar issues, if not worse. I mean, equestrian, example. Women's tennis has not gone to the Sweet 16 since 2015. And they've now back-to-back years in the round of 64. And even baseball, I know, is improving this year, but they have to make the Big 12 tournament though. But my point is, there are other pressing matters, in my opinion, than this sport right here. And really, we took a step forward in everything, like overall record wise, NCAA tournament wise. Which, yes, I know I prefer Sweet 16, but it's a lot better than 3 straight years in a round of 64. And in Big 12, I mean, I'm going to just kind of go over the Big 12 as well on the number of seniors and all this. And this is like pending transfer portal and players turning pro. So Oklahoma State does have 2, and they were a very young team this year. Very young. Now Texas Tech, they have 4 seniors, but all of them are starters. All those 4. And they were like a top 75 team. So my point is, I don't know how good they are. Now TCU technically has 3, but one of them is a walk-on. The other 2 are number 2 and 3 singles in Pedro Vives and Louis Maxted. And who knows about Jack Penton Jones? And I kind of verified what I thought when I talked to somebody at the Big 12 tournament, that Jack Penton Jones was really considering turning pro after last year's national title run. But he changed his mind. I don't know how realistic it would be for him to come back now for a year, his senior year, when TCU is going to get worse when you lose your number 2 and number 3. But if TCU does lose Jack Penton Jones, their top of half of lineup is cut in half, and they're going to deal with what Baylor dealt with back in 2023, when you lost your top half of the lineup, either the seniors or turning pro. So that's just telling the truth there. And UCF men only have like 1 senior on the roster, and they're a Sweet 16 team, and Baylor beat them at their place 4-0. Man, that does sting. It does. Utah has 1 senior, but it's like their court 2. BYU has like 2 of them, but they're like both number 1 in doubles and 1 and 2 singles. Arizona technically has 3 of them, and one of the seniors is like 5 and 6, while the other one's their court 1. And who knows about Jay Friend for Arizona, the number 2 singles player. Will he come back? But if he, I tell you what, Arizona this year, great top 2. I mean, both top 5, 10 players in the country, even top 5 even. So good luck being at 1 and 2. But next year, I don't think it's going to be as dominant at 1 and 2. So my point is, I don't think Arizona is going to be the exact same team as next year. But then again, I know they're bringing back a lot. in terms of the lineup. But if they do lose Jay Frendo, that would be a big blow to lose your top two and then your 5/6 player. Like Arizona State do have like two of them, even though technically they have three, but apparently like Bondes from Arizona State might be getting another year. He was not the one that was not recognized on senior day, by the way. And that's really that's it. And I do expect the Big 12 tournament to keep the same format on the top eight versus 9, and play the one. And from there, go from there. It doesn't make a lot of sense to change it unless you really think number 9 should not be participating. And of course, they're going to play everybody. It's not enough. It's not like the Big 12 in women's tennis that every single team has it, and they decide not to do it. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens in the off season here. And I'm sure there'll be discussions on how to improve this roster. I'm sure there will be. So anyways, if you like this content, hit the like and subscribe button. See you guys later on the road to 800 subscribers. Of course, ultimate goal is 1,000 or more. So I make money off this. Of course, like video, comment video really helps the YouTube algorithm. Some more people see it. Sharing the video does help as well. Some more people could watch. And if you're watching and not subscribe, hit subscribe button. It's free notification bell as well.